Every summer, he'd organize swimming lessons for hundreds of children and adults, scheduling instruction that accommodated different skill levels while maintaining the safety standards that made community pools trusted environments for family recreation. His aquatic expertise was legendary among pool staff and regulars, but when an armed intruder targeted his facility, they discovered his expertise extended beyond swimming instruction and water rescue. Welcome to True Human Tales. Before we begin this powerful story of hidden courage and aquatic heroism, tell me in the comments from which city in the world are you watching this video today. And if you believe stories like this deserve to be heard, hit that subscribe button to support the channel. Riverside Community Aquatic Center served a diverse metropolitan population through its Olympic-sized swimming pool, children's learning area, and recreational facilities that provided affordable access to professional swimming instruction and family-friendly aquatic recreation. The facility had operated for over 20 years, building a reputation for exceptional safety standards, quality instruction programs, and the kind of welcoming environment that made swimming accessible to people of all ages and skill levels. The pool complex featured separate areas designed for different activities: competitive lap swimming, recreational family time, beginner instruction, and advanced training programs that accommodated everyone from toddlers taking their first swimming lessons to senior citizens maintaining fitness through low-impact aquatic exercise. The facility's design prioritized both safety and accessibility, with clear sight lines, multiple emergency access points, and equipment that met or exceeded all safety regulations. Swimming instruction formed the heart of the center's mission, with year-round programs that taught essential water safety skills while building confidence and physical fitness through progressive skill development. The summer session represented the facility's busiest period, when hundreds of children and adults participated in intensive instruction programs that could transform non-swimmers into confident, capable swimmers within weeks. For the past 13 years, the center's most popular and successful instruction programs had been organized and taught by Mike Rodriguez, whose patient teaching methods and comprehensive safety protocols made him the preferred instructor for families seeking quality swimming education. At 51, Mike moved with the fluid confidence of someone who was equally comfortable in water and on pool deck, his instruction combining technical precision with the encouraging demeanor that helped nervous beginners overcome their fears. Mike's expertise encompassed far more than basic swimming instruction. He understood water psychology well enough to help people with aquatic phobias develop confidence gradually, could assess individual learning styles, and adapt instruction techniques accordingly, and somehow always knew exactly which combination of encouragement and challenge would help each student achieve their swimming goals safely and efficiently. Regular students and their families had developed genuine appreciation for Mike's teaching abilities over the years, often returning for advanced instruction and referring friends and relatives who needed quality swimming education. The Martinez family had enrolled all 4 of their children in Mike's programs over 8 years, watching each child develop from nervous beginner to confident swimmer under his patient guidance. Adult students appreciated Mike's ability to teach swimming skills without embarrassment or pressure, creating learning environments where grown-ups could overcome childhood fears and develop competencies they'd always thought were beyond their reach. What made Mike exceptional wasn't just his swimming instruction or water safety knowledge, though both were considerable, but his ability to create positive associations with aquatic environments that lasted a lifetime. He could explain swimming techniques in terms that made sense to different learning styles, provide realistic assessments of skill development timelines, and somehow always ensured that every student left his programs with both improved swimming ability and genuine enjoyment of water activities. Children were naturally drawn to Mike's enthusiasm for swimming and his talent for making water safety education engaging rather than frightening. He had an unlimited supply of games and activities that taught essential skills while maintaining the fun atmosphere that made children eager to participate in lessons. Parents appreciated how Mike's programs built both swimming competence and water safety awareness that protected their children during family vacations and recreational activities. Mike's program coordination required careful scheduling that accommodated different age groups, skill levels, and family schedules while maintaining optimal instructor-to-student ratios that ensured both safety and individual attention. His lesson plans progressed systematically from basic water comfort through advanced swimming strokes, with safety skills integrated throughout every stage of instruction. The summer session brought the facility's peak activity levels, with multiple classes running simultaneously and recreational swimmers sharing pool space with instruction programs. Mike's organizational skills ensured that all activities proceeded safely, despite the complex logistics of managing hundreds of people in and around water environments that required constant vigilance and professional supervision. What students, families, and facility management didn't know was that Mike's exceptional water safety awareness and systematic approach to aquatic risk management had been developed in contexts that required considerably more expertise than community swimming instruction. His knowledge of facility security, emergency response coordination, and crisis management in aquatic environments came from 19 years as Regional Aquatic Safety Director for a major metropolitan park system, where he'd specialized in comprehensive safety management for facilities serving hundreds of thousands of annual visitors. Director Mike Rodriguez had served from 1985 to 2004, managing everything from routine safety inspections to complex emergency responses at aquatic facilities that included water parks, beaches, and competitive swimming venues where safety challenges required sophisticated protocols and professional coordination. His official record listed his specialty as Aquatic Facility, Safety Management, and Emergency Response, but his actual experience included developing safety systems for facilities where a single oversight could result in multiple casualties. Mike had managed facilities where aquatic safety involved crowd control during peak season attendance, coordination with law enforcement during events that attracted thousands of participants, and emergency response protocols that addressed everything from medical emergencies to security threats that could endanger large numbers of people simultaneously. His expertise included designing evacuation procedures for aquatic facilities, coordinating with emergency services during crisis situations, and maintaining safety standards that protected both participants and staff in complex recreational environments. His transition to community instruction work had been carefully planned after experiences that had taught him to value the pure joy and confidence that swimming education could provide when safety concerns were properly managed. The Riverside Community Aquatic Center represented everything he'd learned to appreciate about aquatic recreation. Families building positive memories, individuals overcoming fears and developing new capabilities, and community programs that made swimming accessible regardless of economic circumstances. The facilities management knew Mike was former aquatic safety management, but had no idea of the scope of his experience with large-scale facility operations and emergency response coordination. His background seemed perfect for instruction work that required both swimming expertise and the safety awareness necessary for managing programs that served diverse populations in aquatic environments. What they didn't know was that Mike's equipment storage area included more than standard swimming instruction materials. The secured locker contained detailed emergency response protocols and communication equipment that reflected his understanding of comprehensive facility security, information he'd quietly maintained to ensure that the community center could respond effectively to any crisis that might threaten the safety of students and recreational swimmers. For 13 years, Mike had found profound satisfaction in his instruction work. Teaching swimming skills and water safety had gradually replaced his responsibilities for managing large-scale facility operations, and the steady rhythm of lesson schedules had allowed him to focus on individual student success rather than the complex risk management that major aquatic facilities required. His greatest pleasure came from watching nervous beginners develop into confident swimmers and seeing families create positive associations with aquatic recreation that would benefit them for life. Thursday, July 18th, was a typical busy day during the peak summer season when the community pool operated at near capacity with swimming lessons, recreational swimming, and family activities that made the facility a vital community resource. Mike's afternoon schedule included beginner classes for children, intermediate instruction for teenagers, and an adult learn-to-swim program that attracted working parents seeking to develop swimming skills alongside their children. Mike had arrived at 1 p.m. to prepare the pool areas and organize equipment for the afternoon's instruction programs, ensuring that safety equipment was positioned correctly and lesson materials were ready for the diverse groups that would be using the facility simultaneously. By 2:30 p.m., the pool complex was bustling with families and students, creating the energetic atmosphere of community aquatic recreation at its best. During the peak afternoon period, when summer swimming programs brought maximum attendance to community pools throughout the metropolitan area, Mike was conducting a beginner lesson for 8 children when he noticed unusual activity that his facility management training had taught him to recognize as potentially dangerous. A man had entered the pool complex through the main entrance and was moving through the facility with behavior patterns that Mike's safety management experience identified as inconsistent with normal recreational or instructional activities. The individual's attention was focused on facility layout and crowd distribution rather than swimming activities, and his movements suggested surveillance rather than legitimate pool use. Mike's facility security protocols, refined through years of managing aquatic centers where public safety required constant vigilance, immediately began processing threat indicators with systematic precision. The man's behavior patterns were wrong for recreational pool use. He was studying emergency exits and staff positions rather than enjoying aquatic activities or participating in instruction programs. Mike continued his swimming lesson without changing his instructional routine, but his awareness shifted into the heightened state that had once made him invaluable for managing major aquatic facilities where security concerns required immediate recognition and response. He mentally reviewed the facility's emergency procedures while maintaining normal instruction activities that wouldn't alarm students or their families. The man positioned himself in an area that provided oversight of both the children's instruction area and the recreational swimming sections where families were enjoying afternoon aquatic activities. His placement suggested interest in controlling or threatening the facility's most vulnerable populations, rather than participating in legitimate pool activities. At 3:17 p.m., during the afternoon's peak instruction period, when the pool facility housed its maximum number of children and families, Mike's concerns were confirmed when he observed the man reach into a bag and begin to remove what appeared to be a weapon. The sight of potential violence in an environment filled with children and families triggered Mike's protective instincts with an intensity that transcended his 13 years of peaceful instruction work. That's when Mike stopped being a swimming instructor and became an aquatic safety director again. Mike's response combined the facility emergency management expertise he'd developed during his director career with intimate knowledge of the pool complex's layout and emergency systems that he'd maintained throughout his instruction work. His first priority was protecting the children, families, and staff who had no experience with the kind of crisis situations that Mike had spent years preparing to manage. The pool facility's public address system, which Mike had access to through his instruction responsibilities, became the primary tool for coordinating emergency response. His voice, calm and authoritative despite the circumstances, activated protocols that moved swimmers and students toward safety, while simultaneously alerting facility staff to implement procedures that Mike had quietly reviewed and updated based on his professional experience. Mike's emergency response training enabled him to coordinate civilian protection while managing the complex logistics of evacuating an aquatic facility where people were wearing minimal clothing and had limited mobility options. His knowledge of facility systems allowed him to control access points and communication systems that could prevent the situation from escalating while ensuring that emergency responders could coordinate effectively. Mike's service weapon, a waterproof Glock 19 that he'd maintained according to aquatic facility security protocols throughout his civilian career, came from the secured storage area where he'd kept it accessible for exactly this type of emergency. His position on the pool deck provided excellent oversight of the entire facility while allowing him to coordinate protection for all areas simultaneously. The armed intruder had expected to encounter a facility full of vulnerable families whose panic would provide easy targets for violence in a contained environment where escape options were limited by the facility's design. What he encountered instead was organized resistance delivered by someone who understood both facility security and emergency management systems that could protect large numbers of people efficiently. Mike's aquatic safety training allowed him to coordinate evacuation procedures while maintaining control of the immediate threat, using his knowledge of facility systems to ensure that families could exit safely while emergency responders established control of the situation. His understanding of crowd psychology and aquatic environments enabled him to manage civilian movement without creating panic that could result in additional casualties. Mike's communication skills, developed through years of coordinating emergency responses at major aquatic facilities, provided responding law enforcement with precise information about facility layout and civilian locations, while maintaining operational security that prevented the intruder from interfering with emergency response coordination. The pool facility's design, which Mike understood intimately from both his instruction work and his facility management background, became a tactical asset as he guided families toward safety through routes that provided protection while enabling law enforcement to establish control without endangering the swimmers and students he was protecting. Mike's emergency management expertise allowed him to coordinate both immediate threat response and comprehensive facility security, using his knowledge of aquatic facility operations to ensure that the crisis was resolved with minimal trauma to the community members who depended on the pool for recreation, exercise, and swimming education. Within 11 minutes, the threat was neutralized, the facility was secure, and the 150-plus community members who had come for swimming instruction and recreational activities were safe from an attack that could have traumatized families and destroyed community trust in public aquatic facilities. Mike's immediate threat recognition and emergency response had prevented what could have become a mass casualty incident at a facility that served as a vital community resource. The emergency procedures that Mike coordinated proved their effectiveness as swimmers, and students were evacuated with minimal panic and no civilian casualties. Families later described how Coach Mike had managed the emergency with the same professional competence they'd come to expect from his swimming instruction, not realizing until afterward that their trusted instructor had been prepared for crisis management far beyond typical pool safety concerns. The investigation revealed the scope of the planned attack, a targeted assault designed to exploit aquatic facilities, contained environments, and vulnerable populations to maximize casualties and psychological impact. The attacker had researched pool operations, peak attendance periods, and facility layout with thoroughness that suggested careful planning and knowledge of aquatic facility vulnerabilities. What he hadn't researched was Mike Rodriguez. The law enforcement officials who debriefed Mike were impressed by his comprehensive emergency response, but understood immediately why the attack had been prevented so effectively when they learned about his facility management background. 19 years of experience managing aquatic facility safety and emergency response, combined with 13 years of intimate knowledge of community pool operations and family safety needs. The media wanted to interview him about his transition from facility management to community instruction, about the security challenges that face public aquatic facilities, about the moment when his two careers had intersected to protect the families and children who'd trusted him with their aquatic education. Mike politely declined interview requests, preferring to focus attention on the positive aspects of community swimming programs rather than security threats that occasionally endangered public facilities. Riverside Community Aquatic Center resumed normal operations the following week with enhanced security protocols and a deeper appreciation for the man who'd taught their swimming programs with expertise that extended far beyond aquatic instruction. Mike returned to his teaching duties with the same quiet professionalism that had made his programs essential to community health and safety, instructing swimmers with the same dedication that had made him valuable to both his facility management career and his education work. The only visible change was increased recognition from students and families who began understanding that Mike's presence at the pool provided both swimming instruction and safety awareness that encompassed more than aquatic hazards. Mike had requested that his programs remain focused on swimming education rather than security training, preferring to be known for teaching life-saving swimming skills rather than for the crisis management capabilities that had protected his students when their safety was threatened. Because some people dedicate their careers to protecting others in aquatic environments, and when they transition from facility management to community instruction, their protective instincts find new expression in teaching skills that could save lives both in and out of water. Mike had spent 19 years managing comprehensive safety at major aquatic facilities and 13 years teaching individual water safety skills that protected families during recreational activities. The water was the same, but the mission had evolved. Provide education and skills that help people enjoy aquatic recreation safely, while standing ready to protect them from threats that could harm both individuals and the community programs that made swimming accessible to everyone. So now I ask you, have you ever met someone like Mike? Someone who seemed like just a friendly swimming instructor until the moment they revealed the depths of their expertise and dedication? Someone whose daily presence made you feel safer without knowing why? Tell me in the comments, where are you watching from today, and share their story with us. And if you believe stories like this need to be heard, hit that subscribe button and help us make sure they are. We publish human stories that matter every single week. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next story. And remember, sometimes the person teaching you to swim knows more about keeping you safe than you could ever imagine.